This video is directed towards anybody working at Cancer Research UK. What the hell are you doing? Where is all that money going that we raise every year? We're no further on now than we were 50 years ago. The number of dead people don't lie. This is how many people worldwide you estimate that have died so far in the world. And it's only the 18th of January, for God's sake. Cancer is one of the most feared words in the English language, and it doesn't need to be. Stick around, because I've got a real aha moment for you later in the video. Now let's just watch this discussion with Professor Thomas Seyfried and Philip Ovadia about metabolic therapy and the true origin of the disease. I have added some text in places to explain for the layman, but even then you may want to watch it more than once to understand the concepts. And just let this sink in. In the time it takes to watch this video, another 114 people will have died.
These mutations are the downstream effect of the altered metabolism.
Yeah, they are. So, and how do we know that? Because the cancer cells produce tremendous amounts of reactive oxygen species, ROS. These are radicals. They damage DNA, RNA, proteins, lipids, and this kind of stuff. Well, they pour out of these cancer cells and they cause the mutations. They're carcinogenic and mutagenic. So the damaged cell respiration in time, it happens, it's a protracted event. So the cell tries to stay alive by respiring. And that is the respiration capacity becomes lower and lower with the compensation from fermentation, because with that, you got to have energy. So where's the energy coming from? In our bodies, it comes from oxidative phosphorylation. We breathe air. We exhale CO2. The oxygen in the air is giving us the energy to produce ATP. The cancer cell it gradually loses the ability to generate energy from oxygen and acquires the ability to generate energy from fermentation, which is energy without oxygen. And then they have to say, well, what are they fermenting? So we went through all of the fuels that a cancer cell can ferment. It's only two, the sugar glucose and the amino acid glutamine, nothing else. So now that tells us the strategy for killing these things. I want
to make sure that I'm not mistaken here. This is common for all types of cancers.
Yes, it is. Why? And I can tell you why, because the mitochondria are defective in all types of cancers. All cancers can live without oxygen. Why? Because the mitochondria that's responsible for generating energy with oxygen is defective in all cancers. So we go after brain cancer only because they have nothing. There's nothing to say that, oh, we have something better. No, you don't. You don't have anything. So all we do is show that we can take GBM patients and keep them alive far longer than what would have been expected. And people say, do you think that will work in other cancers? Of course it will. I mean, we have breast cancer, we have colon cancer, we have all these cancers that all do the same thing. They all ferment. Now, this is why it's so dangerous.
Aha! 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 Aha!
It's dangerous because it's a very simple approach that can manage all major cancers, regardless of their genetic mutations, which are largely irrelevant. They're all downstream stuff. So all this precision medicine, all these things you hear, it's all bullshit, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, and is it working? No, we have 1,600 people a day dying from cancer in the United States every day, and it's getting worse year in and year out. And then you say, how many of these poor people are dying from the treatments? And a lot of them are dying from the treatments. So you're saying is you're treating cancer with therapies that are not based on the solid science that underlies why the cancer is dysregulated in growth in the first place. You know who understands this? The common guy, the layperson can understand this far better than the oncologists working at the top medical schools. I mean, it's a mind blower. I mean, you can't write a script like this, right? And then when the common guy goes into Dana-Farber, MD Anderson, and says, I want metabolic therapy. Oh, that doesn't work. And besides, we don't know about it. Well, for crying out loud, how are you working on a disease when you have no clue as to the biological basis for the disease that you're working on? 1,600 people a day dead from cancer. So when you start to put it, it's a tragedy. Once we realize, once people understand what I'm saying and act upon it, and we develop it, like Dr. Claffey and all these other guys that are going to be out there, we're writing up huge protocols now, instruction manual, basically how to treat cancer patients with metabolic therapy. And once you start seeing everybody like Pablo Kelly coming out and saying, hey, I should have been dead. I'm getting a family here. What's going on? I didn't lose my hair. I didn't have any bleeding gums. I mean, whoa, everybody say, I want that. Can I have that? Let me have that. You know, why you want to go in and get your brain irradiated? This is nuts. I mean, nobody should ever have their brain irradiated. This is nuts. You don't do that to another human being. So, you know, and that's because of the lack of knowledge. So these guys lack knowledge. They're clueless as to the underlying mechanisms that drive in the cancer, and they're using therapies that actually make it worse. And the evidence is all in the literature. Perfectly death. Everybody's dying at approximately the same time. Rarely do you get any survivors. What the hell? For 45 years we're doing this, 100 years and no progress, and you continue to do the same stupid thing that you've been doing over and over again, and you're resistant to something new. You tell me that, Tom and Guy, you tell me what's wrong with this picture.